Hi, you guys. My name is Brianna, which means high, exalted, noble, and strong. Today I'm making a video about spiritual witchcraft. I want to start by saying that witchcraft can be bigger and smaller than what the average person thinks that it is, and it is something that is real, and it is something that is practiced by a lot of people. But also, there's no need to fear it because people of God are protected. And as long as we believe in God, as long as we follow God, as long as we stay prayed up, it can't affect us. So it is what it is, kind of. But it can be dangerous because people don't realize how simple it can be. Like, that's why God takes lying so serious, because lying is a form of trying to manipulate somebody's mind to think another thing. And so that turns into manipulation, which can be a real big form of witchcraft. And you guys got to think about it as like something where, when you're dealing with somebody that's a narcissist, which is something that's really like a really big form, they use a lot of witchcraft because they lie all the time to manipulate people, and they become really good at lying. And like, they can lie and use evil psychology on your mind to where you start to not you believe their lies rather than the truth. Like, I know with my ex, like, he did a lot of where we would go through a certain situation, and I would remember the situation exactly as it was, and later on, like down the line, he would try to tell me like, that's not how it happened, and it made me come to a point where I was not believing in myself. I wasn't confident in my own thoughts. And another way he would do it is like, when we would break up, he would still like he would call me babe over and over and again, and like just like say unnecessary sounds, say babe in an unnecessary amount of times to basically install in my mind that we were back together. And it actually worked, guys. We got back together a lot of times because of that simple thing. And it sounds simple when you're on the outside looking in, but it's not that simple when your mind's manipulated. And you really have to reconstruct your minds when you get out of like situations of dealing with relationships with those type of people, because they really do manipulate your mind. And that's why manipulation is a form of witchcraft. And another form of witchcraft is like these celebrities, y'all. They do a lot of these like rituals and stuff like that they put into their music, they put on these songs and stuff to make you like them. And another way they do it is by putting it in your face 24/7. Like, I know vibrations through the songs is a way that they get to certain people, and that can be very dangerous because you guys are a lot of times listening to full-blown rituals, and you're gonna have to reconstruct your mind once you stop listening to that. So it's best to stop listening to that type of stuff, stop following these people, and just get completely out of the bubble with these people, because those celebrities are evil people that sold their soul. So they're gonna do whatever they can to take you with them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the topic of a couple of examples that I want to show you guys of my encounters that I've had with witches recently as a flight attendant. One that was very recent, and one that happened when I was in training. So let's get into it. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a girl. We're going to call her Liar. She might come up in the future, so I'm going to just name her Liar because that's all she did was lie. When I met this girl, she came off very sweet, had a sweet tone in her voice, and she told us a whole bunch of things that she did in a career and about her lifestyle, which all turned out to be a lie. And I want to fast forward to like me basically knowing her. After a short amount of time of being around her, I started to pull away, because it's just being close to any people in training. Like, if you're gonna do the flight attendant training, just know that you need to stick to yourself, keep your head down, mind your business, because people are just out to start drama with you. And the longer you're there, the more you'll realize it, and the more you're distant, the more you'll be out of it, and the more you can focus on what you're there to do. But as time went on, I started to distance myself from her, just because of little things, all the lying. I was just like, there's no point in this, so let me mind my business. I was still cordial and nice, but still, mind my business at the end of the day. One day we came into a counter where we had just taken a test, and we were outside of the class taking a test. And so she started doing this thing where she just wanted to try to like come up to me and basically like get me to talk and like question me, like, why are you being so quiet? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, acting like there was something like wrong with me, but I was still being nice and cordial to her. I just wasn't partying after class and things like that. But she was trying to make it seem like that was an issue. So we were having this encounter, we were talking, and I was like telling her, like, I'm just focusing on training, minding my business. And she was like, yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I've been doing my crystals. Like, I make sure that I do my crystals so I don't have any problems and I can stay focused. And I was just like, she was like, yeah, trying to like, after she said the thing about the crystals, she tried to say like, yeah, God guides me because I'm doing the crystal thing. And so I politely told her, I was like, oh, God doesn't like crystals. And then so we went to a back and forth where she was like, yes, he does. And I was like, no, he doesn't. And she was like, yes, he does. And I was like, no, he doesn't. And so as we're having that little conversation, I see the spirits come out of all the people that are surround us, because we were all outside of the hotel training room, and all together waiting to get our test results back. And I see everybody around her start turning around and listen to our conversation and listen to what we're talking about. And I see them all directing their upsetness at me, looking at me, and start their little side conversations where I hear them like, she can't say that about her religion, and that's what I hear them start to say or whatever. So I'll just ended the conversation politely and walked away and put it in my mind, yeah, I'm really not gonna fool with you because I don't fool with that. She also hung around a girl that was very, very dark. This girl actually was related to one of the higher ups in the company that I work for. And she basically, the dark girl, she had the ability to basically pass training without even trying, because she had a relationship, like her grandfather was one of the higher ups. So she basically could do whatever she wanted to do, but she didn't want to do that. She wanted to pass training, but she was like on coke the whole time we were in training, late night parties, got into trouble and was getting out of trouble because of that relationship and things like that. But that's neither here nor there. They were very, very close the entire training. And why I bring up this girl is because there was like one day in training where it was Halloween, and she wore devil horns to class. And she knew that, I don't know how, a lot of times sometimes I rarely even talk about God. I just be quiet. But it's like, you got to know that it's all spiritual because of the way that they bring it to you and come at you directly. Like, everybody in class, like a majority, it was like about 40 of us, and like pretty much everybody claimed to be a believer in God, but just all different religions. But when it came to God, I was always the target for some reason. So when she wore these devil horns, she just like was doing the most that day to basically shove it in my face and be like, yeah, say something, like basically trying to like get me upset the whole day that she was wearing those. And so that day with that girl, that dark girl, I marked too. I was just like, okay, I'm going to really keep my distance from you, because you it's not cool that you're wearing the devil horns from the get-go, but it's your business. But the fact that you're trying to direct that at me and mess with me with that's when it becomes a problem. And so that was that. They ended up being best friends, and a lot of lying between the two. And as time continues on, going back to the topic of the witch, I had to really cut her off, because one day we were in training, we were in a physical training day, and I was talking it up with one lady about, just chilling out, trying to calm down and relax during this training while we study all day, every day. And so Liar came up behind the girl that I was talking to. She was like, yeah, I did a whole lot last night. I burned my candles, did my sage, and just all this little ritual stuff that she did. I tuned her out, but after like the candles and all circling around the room and all that other stuff. But yeah, she started that, and the girl that I was talking to, she was basically on the other side. She was like back and forth with me, because they really don't be not liking me. They are followers and are easily manipulated not to like me. But when Lyra started talking about all the stuff that she did that night before, the girl that I was talking to, she started looking at me and like trying to check me, my energy, check my facial expressions, and check how I responded to that. And so I was just like, I responded by, like, I did do a face like this, like, what the heck, why are you saying that? And then I told Lyra, I was just like, yeah, I don't do all that. I don't fool with all that. So I ended that conversation there. And she just kept going, and so they just turned the conversation into them talking, and I turned back around like, I'm not fooling with that. But so yeah, I just wanted to insert that to show you guys that people actually be out here doing these full-blown rituals, and others will mark it as okay and just be like doing it right in front of your face. It's like, yes, the crystal thing is something that's like popular these days, but this girl, Lyra, she was doing full-blown rituals and was accepted by everybody. So yeah, and I was not accepted by everybody, but this girl was accepted by everybody, which is crazy. But that's that with that situation. There was a little bit more interaction with her, but it's not that important to say. I feel like I said what was really important to say about her. Moving over to the lady from the crash pad. This is recent. So in this recent crash pad, and I'm gonna post a couple of photos of women that are high in witchcraft in the celebrity portal. And y'all gotta understand, these people have a look to them. It's like a dirty, a filthy spiritual look. And so it's like, for me, I don't know if it's just me, but I can kind of spot them from a mile away, and I see it, and I'm like, I see it and I feel it, and I'm just like, you giving witch vibes. But I also like judge the situation by their actions as well. So with this girl, we're gonna call her Crash Pad Witch, in case she comes up in the future. She tried to cling on to me. She tried to do it that way. And so when I first moved into Crash Pad, she started doing little things, like she tried to get a lust thing going on, and that's a big thing with them as well, y'all. Like, you gotta wonder why all these celebrities are always half naked, always talking about sex, always selling sex, things like that. Yes, sex sells, but other things sell as well. Sex is only selling so good because that's what we've been manipulated to believe is the only thing that's live and lingo, and that's all we want. That's where it's at. But it's there's other ways to it. Like, when I listen to my Christian music, I do just fine without all that lust and things like that. But that's how she started to try to start the relationship with me, wearing booty shorts and bending over in front of me. I had to check her like the second day that I was there, because the first time I got out the shower, I went in the room, there was nobody in the room, and so I start changing. And so as soon as I come in the room, she hadn't been in the room all day, but as soon as I come in the room, she comes in the room and like starts to try to start a conversation with me while I'm changing. So I noted it, covered up, waited for her to leave, and there was nothing with that. Second time she tried to do it, I come out the shower, come into the restroom, and then she comes in right after me and tries to act like she needs to get a water bottle from the water that was sitting like next to me while I was changing. And then tried to start a conversation up with me. So when she does it the second time, I'm just quiet. And I look at her, I'm like, this is not gonna be something that we're gonna continue doing. This is not what's about to be happening. And she was like, when she saw that I was just being like, it was like a polite quiet too, but it was like a stern, like, we're not gonna keep doing this. And so she was like, after I was quiet, she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt you while you were changing. And in my head, I'm like thinking like, yes, you were. This is only the second time, but you also been like doing little weird things like bending over in front of me and stuff. Then after that, she stopped coming in there where I was changing, but then she started trying to be the one that was changing. Like the first time she did it, she just came in the room and I was just like, this could be just a coincidence. I'm already in here in my bed. She's probably just in here just changing. That's her business, whatever. I'm gonna just close my curtains and let her do her thing. And so the second time, I'm in the laundry room in the garage area. Why are you coming and trying to change in front of me in there? Putting your bras all next to me and stuff like that. What's the reason for that? So I rebuked it, made sure I had my anointing oil on every day that I was there. And I just noted it like that's something that y'all are going to try to do. Like, it's not working because I've become a bit wise in the lust spirit, because I know myself and I know that I had to deal with that, and I know how easy it's passed. So you have to really step away, pray it off, and get it together, because it's just a spirit that people are just trying to pass around. So yeah, that was that with that situation with her. All right, so lastly, ending this story and ending this topic with this lady. So when I would always kind of try to like be quiet. I went in trying to be quiet and mind my business. And also like I feel like I gotta kind of be stern with my quietness at the beginning. Like I'll talk more as time goes on, but I just wanted people to realize that the majority of the time I'm going to be quiet. We rarely are off work. I want to rest, relax, think of my own thoughts. I don't want everybody's thoughts in my head all day, every day. I want to be to myself for the times that I'm not at these long periods of time at work. But they didn't get it, especially her. Like, people act like they're, just because they're trying to start conversation with you and be cordial with you, they're being polite. And it's also manipulated to where people think that it's manners to force conversation on people, and it's manners for that person to want to respond and hold a full conversation with you, but it's not. It's actually impolite to force people into conversation when you could read. You could read when somebody's just kind of trying to mind their business and be quiet. I feel like people are, especially when people seeing my light walking around these days, and I see a lot of people like they'll a whole bunch of people walk past and they won't say nothing to those people. But when it comes to me, they try to start conversation with me, because it's like, I know it's like also a spirit on them that's making them want to do that, but it's very, very evident that people are trying to use manners to manipulate and mess with people. That's what I've been noticing. Yeah. But yeah, so with her, that's basically what she was doing, trying to force conversation on me. There was like one time, like the time when she was trying to undress in front of me in the laundry room. I was in there doing my hair. I was in there doing this, and she like basically like looked all over the house to try to come find me, and like made reasons to stay up in there and just force conversation on me. And I'm just like, bruh, you see I'm kind of cornered, and I have to be here because I'm sitting here doing my hair in front of the mirror. But don't do that. Go mind your business. Like, why are you even like in here? Go in the living room, go in the room. You're forcing it. And so she would do it times I was in the kitchen, but I would like politely end the conversation. It was like politely, but I had to force it because she just wouldn't stop. And there was one time she caught me when I was cooking, and we had a 2-hour-long conversation because she wouldn't stop talking. A 2-hour-long conversation. And I think I had like, previously had like a red eye the day before. I had a red eye coming up, and I was just really just trying to eat and go to sleep. And I was just like, this is just so rude. But anywho, getting into the topic of the conversation. So how I didn't really mind the conversation, because all we did was sit there. We talked about like what's going on with these celebrities. She actually had a level of understanding and believe what these celebrities truly are. We're just like passing conversation about what we know, the knowledge that we have. And it was like we had the same knowledge of these celebrities, why they're doing this, why they're acting like this, why they performing these rituals, why they come into these certain issues and things like that. So that was cool. But my thing was, when we would talk about like the witchcraft and stuff, she seemed knowledgeable about the topic. And when she would seem knowledgeable about the topic, I'd be like, well, it is what it is. And I would say little comments like, God is always going to win in the end, and he always protects his people from things like that. And she would just be quiet when I would mention God every time. And I noted that. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Then she just randomly takes the conversation to a friend of hers who attempted to do witchcraft on somebody. And she said that the friend didn't perform the ritual correctly. So it backfired on her. And she just kept repeating, yeah, she just didn't perform it correctly. You got to know what you're doing when you're doing those type of things. She just didn't perform it correctly. And so I'm looking, and I was like, it probably didn't happen correctly too, because she could have been messing with a child of God. She was quiet when I said that, but she would be quiet and do this like a weird little smile. But that was that. That just kept happening, and I was just like, let me just make sure I'm solid on what I'm talking about, and solid on how I feel, and solid on if you try anything on me, I don't care. That's your business. Because I know I'm protected by the Most High. He's the real creator. He created all these people. He created all this stuff. So I'm always going to be safe, so it is what it is. But y'all, I just want to end this by saying this stuff out here is real, y'all. And Jesus is real. You got to really stay prayed up and really be believing in your prayers. You got to really be out here blessing yourself with anointing oil, protecting yourself, and fasting. And fasting is the way to being spiritually enlightened and woken up. It really just allows you to open your mind and see what's really going on. And the more you do it, the more you'll see, and the more you won't be able to go back. And the more that people like me, people like Mark the Messenger, people like The Truth Is, we sound like, oh my gosh, that really is the truth, and there's no going back after that, y'all. And people see you, and they can try to throw all this spiritual warcraft at you, all these rituals. I'm pretty sure there's people that should try to do it on me because they have so much hatred towards God. It's not towards me, towards God. So they try to do all this to me, but I'm protected by the Most High. So at the end of the day, I don't fear none of that. I don't mind none of that. Y'all, YouTube is unsubscribing people from my channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.